Good morning. It is 8:02 on a Thursday morning. Actually, it's 8 o'clock on a Thursday morning. I always forget my computer at work. The clock is like 2 minutes fast. Like, what is that all about? Anyway, I'm West 2 First Warning meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk live from Portland, Maine. It is listen, can I just tell y'all, it is beautiful up here. Now, this is the peak season. This is summer. So I would imagine that it's not so lovely up these parts, come winter. But for now, I mean, I'm looking at trees galore, and it's just the color green on these trees is beautiful. So enough about that. Let's talk about our Central Florida forecast, shall we? A live look outside on our tower cam network showing a deck of clouds over top of us. It's a nice quiet start, relatively speaking, but those clouds are hanging. Here's first warning, live Doppler radar. And yeah, I need to check the time on this computer because it says 8:03, but it's 8:01 right now. So there's that. But you can see some showers off the shoreline, but otherwise we are doing just fine. Temperatures around town, 77 in Ocala. It's 81 in Pittsburgh, 80 degrees in Orlando, and 81 degrees in Melbourne. So where do we go from here? Across Central Florida, 88 today, our high temperature, up to about 92 degrees by 1 o'clock. And we'll keep going, my friends. It is a hot, hot day. 95 in the metro, with showers and storms starting to bubble up, and then we'll get to about a 50% coverage of rain. Through the rest of the week, we're going to keep these big heat conditions around. So yes, be ready for the heat. In terms of temperatures around town, here's where we're at today, all right? It's 95 in Orlando, 96 in Leesburg, 96 degrees in the Villages, even along the East Coast beaches. It's going to be up there. Man, oh man, 92 in Daytona Beach, 90 degrees, our high temperature in Titusville. We'll enter it up. I see y'all commenting about vacation, et cetera, et cetera. We'll talk about that in just a couple of minutes, but I do want to make sure to address our local forecast before we do anything else. Now, in terms of the local forecast, we've hit the criteria to get heat advisories posted for our northernmost communities. So Marion County, Putnam County, Flagler County, you're under heat advisories for this afternoon. So yeah, big heat. Heat advisories. What is the definition of a heat advisory? If you're unfamiliar, that means that the feels like temperature, heat advisory, means that the feels like temperature for us, okay, gets to 108 degrees or above for any period of time. I talked to a friend over at the National Weather Service just to confirm that that's what the definition is. Okay, so heat advisories posted. Now, I know this is like a hot button issue. Back in my day, like I saw somebody comment the other day, back in my day, there was no such thing as a feels like temperature. They just told us the way it was going to be. Feels like temperatures or heat index numbers came to be in the 1970s because there was a need for this sort of thing. So, what you're telling me, Burris, is that science has moved forward? That's correct. So, the humidity is as such that it's a particularly impactful day once again. So let's talk a little bit about that, okay? Let's take a look at our futurecast model and just kind of get an idea of what those feels like temperatures are going to look like today, all right? So here you go. This morning, not horrible, right? But through the day, watch how quickly by 11 o'clock, we'll already feel like 100 degrees, right? 1 o'clock, already feeling like 105 in Orlando, 107 in Ocala, 106 in Palm Coast, and at least according to our Futurecast model, 108 in Palm Bay. And it's because of that, right, that we've got the heat advisories posted. Now, could we see those extended to other parts of Central Florida? Sure, I think that's a possibility. Of course, I clicked it and ran too far. It's a possibility that we get there. Here's kind of the overall idea. All right, let me dial that up. And then today's actually a monumental day in Central Florida's climate world. So, all right, here's Orlando's feels like temperatures the next couple of days in the triple digits, but not to 108 or so. Let's look around some other areas around town. We'll begin here in Daytona Beach, where your feels like temperatures today get to 103 degrees through the afternoon, according to our forecasting. Leesburg, you're going to get up to about 106 degrees for feels like temperatures today. Melbourne, 105 or so. Ocala, you're under that heat advisory. There's that 108. There's the trigger. 2 p.m., it feels like 108. You got to take it easy. It's just a little bit hotter. For Palm Coast, it's probably more of a 3 o'clock event that you get to 108, so it's not graphed here. And then last but not least, into Sanford, feels like 106. Now, that said, feels like temperatures, it's hot here all the time. I get that. But it crosses that boundary that is just dangerous, for lack of a better term. Now, do we talk about heat and records today? The reality is it's a possibility. Orlando, 95, the record is 99. Not expecting a record there. Sanford, 96, the forecast, 97, the record. That was set back in 1963. That is a possibility. Leesburg, I think that we'll have a bit of a gap. Daytona Beach, Melbourne better have a gap. But yeah, Sanford, I'm looking at you, kid, today. Seriously. Probably going to be flirting with a record high there. So good times. All right, so that's where we're at. Now, what about the rainfall, right? Because we know one thing that helps us out every single day during the summer is the prospect of rain. Whether or not it plays out, that's up to Mother Nature, right? So let's take a look at Futurecast. We know it's quiet now, 100% confirmed. Now, I hope it's okay that I'm not there to like look out my window, because when I look out my window, what I'm seeing is like stunning trees that we don't have in Florida. But through the wonders of technology, we're able to do it. And by the way, for anybody that cares, the nerds in the room, Coffee Talk this morning is being run out of Orlando. I always love this. So I'm video conferencing into my weather computer at WESH, and then Coffee Talk is being broadcast from WESH out. Not that that matters to anybody, but I just like sharing some little nerd snippets, tidbits, a little bit, because it's fun. Priscilla's asked, I just see your comment. How's the trip? Let me just run through Futurecast, and then we can yanter it up and chat. I want to tell you about how great it's been so far, but we've got to do the weather stuff first, and then we can chat about the trip, and then we could look at the tropics. All right, so here's 11 o'clock Futurecast looking good. 1 o'clock, starting to see a little bit of rain trying to sneak up. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Uh-oh, hold on a second. It's okay. Jeannie couldn't get the door. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, friend. All right, so there's Futurecast, 4 o'clock. We've got those showers kind of developing up, right? Makes total sense. Starting east and then kind of trying to, once again today, eventually work west. But just like yesterday, you'll notice a later start to those showers and thunder showers. There's 7 p.m., widespread shower and thunderstorm activity across central Florida, and then working out west, 8, 9, 10 o'clock or so. And then look north, like a little boundary layer kind of passing on through. So there you go. For today, it's going to be late day showers and thunder showers, helping to cool us down. In the meantime, you're talking searing heat. One other thing, it looks like that rain coverage today is going to be elevated just a little bit. 60% coverage of showers and thunder showers. High of 95 in the metro, getting even hotter for tomorrow. 96 degrees our high temperature. Through the weekend, we're going to keep the storms around. And then into next week, that heat bubble at least will burst just a little bit. We'll be able to bring those temperatures down just a smidge. Good gravy. That is good times. Yeah. All right. To your questions, your comments, your concerns. Hi, everybody. Everybody's saying, hi, Jeannie, come join all the craziness on Coffee Talk. She went and grabbed a little bite. I'm drinking my protein shake. She's actually having some real good stuff. Actually looks like a pretty decent little breakfast. There's your Hood Milk. We're like right across the street from Hood Milk. She pointed it out. I'd never even heard of it. I'm a TG Lee guy, I guess. All right, so that's where we're at this morning. Good gravy. The air feels like gravy when I walk it up. Oh, is it really? Oh, cool. Yeah. So you know what's kind of interesting, y'all? So yesterday we made it to our sister station in the afternoon to chat with their chief meteorologist. And one of the things that we were talking about is how the dew point temperatures were pretty close to the same in Maine here as is Florida. Dew point temperatures in the 70s up here yesterday. And so we were out and about. The heat was not as hot, but let me tell you something. The humidity was there. I mean, it was muggy. It was muggy, and everybody up here is like disgusted with the mugginess. Meanwhile, we're like, yeah, but it was only 84 degrees, 83 degrees. So Janice is saying hi to you, Miss Jeannie. Everybody's saying hi to you this morning. All right, so I have to share some pictures, and I'm going to post some of these later. But first off, so we get up here, and the first destination, and I think I posted this. First destination is to a little food truck, Bite into Maine, and that's where, at Fort Williams Park, Jeannie got herself a beautiful lobster roll. I'm not what you'd call a seafood lover, so like I'm the guy that went to this place and got was a pulled pork sandwich. Like what is that?
But it was like
Oh, it was delicious.
maple.
Maple barbecue, whatever. Now, we're at this park, Fort Williams Park. Anybody recognize this site? Anybody? Debbie says lobster. So anybody recognize that? That's what is that called? The headlight? Is that called the headlight? But us Red Lobster people would know it. Like that's like their mascot or their isn't it? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Karen says not kosher. Listen, if I kept a kosher house, I would have been frustrated years and years and years ago. So yeah. Anyway, so did the headlight. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Got to see all the water and we got to touch the water. Like look at this scenery. Like seriously, how gorgeous is that? Just gorgeous. And then did the walk around. We touched the water, which was in the lower 60s. Not my cup of tea. And then hung around, drove around a little bit. Then, and I didn't get this the first time, so we were sure to get it the second time. That's me trying lobster. What did I say? It's not my cup of tea? It just
didn't do it for you.
It just doesn't do it for me, which as a recovering morbidly obese person, like let me tell you something, I don't need to love new foods. Like I've already loved enough food. Right? Like it just tasted like jelly to me. I don't know.
Oh, it was so good.
It's so good. Yeah. And then we went on a little sunset cruise. Got to see some boats and the water, got to watch the sunset. And let me just tell you something. Like I get why people love it. Like I get it. That's just stunning. Jeannie was making fun of me the whole time because I'm like taking a million pictures of the sunset. Yeah.
You're that guy.
I'm that guy. And then afterward, now you have to understand, we woke up, our alarm went off at 2:45, which is one of my alarms that I do the morning show, okay? So I'm a little more used to this terrible hour than Jeannie. I'm a lot more used to it. But after the sunset, I'm like, all right, let's go to the TV station. And Jeannie's a trooper because you could tell this woman had just been beaten up by the day. And I'm like, all right, let's go to the TV station. Because I have, as you all know, I work with the entire company, but there's a lot of these meteorologists that I've not met in person. And so I'm like, I'm in Maine. I gotta swing by the TV station. So Roger, the chief meteorologist at our sister station, had us up there. And let me just tell you a fun first off, if that weather center looks somewhat familiar, it's almost identical to the WESH 2 weather center. And it's a beautifully appointed weather department. The weather nerds in here will know when I say Roger had Buff Kit pulled up, and yeah, like looking at this, it's the exact same weather center, kind of like it's the same company, right? So there we are, hanging with Roger. Sidebar, I'm excited because Roger's going to be at the conference that I'm at next week, so I get to hang out with him again. I'm gonna try and swing the company credit card and buy the man some lunch. But it was fantastic. We talked a bit of weather. He kind of gave us some pointers for our next little leg of our trip, and so it was great. I made sure that he understood that going forward, I'm here to continue to help him with all of his graphics. But yeah, so it was really cool to get it. But let me just tell you a fun side story. So I took that picture and I sent it to Cam Tran because you may or may not know this, but WESH 2 meteorologist Cam Tran worked here at WMTW years and years ago. And when she was studying her meteorology program, it was that guy, Roger, that really helped her through it. You could just tell Roger has the heart of a teacher. Because this is a smaller television station, and so a lot of his meteorologists will come through and go, as they're working through their career. So I just thought that it was very, very, very cool. I thought it was very cool. So loved meeting him, and that was day one of our adventure. Today we're going to head up the coast, and we're going to head up to Bahaba. I have no idea what to expect up that way. So that'll be a lot of fun. That'll be a lot of fun. Oh, that's too funny. I bet in Maine, Yukon says, I bet in Maine, they just leave the front of the TV station open. Like the front door of it open. No, but you know what Roger said, which I thought was something? He said that days like this, people have to use their air conditioning. And he's like, he uses his air conditioning. And as a Floridian, this like hurts my head to think about it. As a Floridian, though, he said that he uses his air conditioning on average like 7 times a year. And they don't have central AC, which makes sense, but he uses his AC 7 times a year. Isn't that something? 7 times a year. And I told Jeannie that I use the heat in our house more than 7 times a year, to which she made fun of me because it's 100% because of me, which is true. So yeah, Nancy says, "Wow, it does look like the same weather station." So Nancy, it's the same company, so we kind of have the same set design that we give everybody. And I got to tell you, I saw the way that Rogers Weather Center was set up, and I'm like, he's got like desk lamps. Did you notice that? The desk lamps?
I actually meant to ask him what they're for because I saw there were desk lamps and plugins on the side,
Yeah.
and it was really cool.
It was really
There were
cool,
like 5 of them.
right? I'm thinking to myself, hey, come the end of budget year this year, if we've got a couple of $100 we could throw into
We
the
should ask him what brand they are because they were really nice.
right. Like I don't even know if they showed up in the picture here. I don't know. Did they? Not. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can kind of see it there. Like
They don't care.
I know they don't care, but for me, I want desk lamps in the Wesh Weather Center. That was super cool. Also, they have a fireplace in their lobby. Like you walk in that lobby, there's a fireplace. It was love. I walked in, I was like, "Ooh, this is nice." So, anyway, yeah, it was very very nice. My heat is all my heat is almost. I have no idea what you're trying to say. I apologize.
Read it out loud.
My heat is almost on the whole winter here. Thank you. My brain is not processing. Me as well, Annie. My thing is when it gets cold, I want it to be comfortable. Nancy says get desk lamps. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. Today we're gonna go up the shore and tomorrow we're hiking, right?
Tomorrow we're gonna, yes, Acadia
The Acadia National
Park.
Park, right? Which is obviously, very cool. So it'll be great. It'll be great. Anne Marie says Maine is such a beautiful state. It is. I said to Jeannie that I really want to bring the kids up here next time, whenever that is. I hope it's not too long from now. I think this is so charming here. Yeah. Yeah, remember our Florida heat, never going to have a fireplace at Wesh MCA. Well, yeah, it's true. Well, and like I remember growing up, we had a fireplace at our house. I lived in a neighborhood in Winter Springs, Hollowbrook, and they had a fireplace. And I remember we used it like once a year. just to say we used it, you know? So there's that. Yeah, it was just beautiful. So anyway, so that's where we are. All right. I guess we should talk a little bit of weather. We'll get back to the weather. All right. So out in the tropics, my friends, we do have a few things to watch. First off, let me reintroduce you to Tropical Storm Dawn. See, we get back the train goes back on the tracks. So there's Tropical Storm Dawn. There's the Azores top right corner. Dawn spinning in the North Atlantic, looking beautiful, looking beautiful for a kind of wrong button. Looking beautiful for a low end tropical storm that's not bothering anybody. That's my favorite kind of tropical storm. Here's the forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center. Next couple of days, it kind of loops up the north, stays off the coast of Nova Scotia, and eventually weakens in the cooler waters of the North Atlantic. So that fits, right? Which I do think it's pretty funny because I'm in Maine and I'm watching a tropical system at our level of latitude. But here you go. Water temperatures are just chilly up here. Like you're not going to keep a tropical system going up here for very long. But there you go. So there's Dawn doing its thing. Also, off the coast of Africa, watching a pretty rigorous wave kind of rolling away from the coastline there. Over the next couple of days, that wave is going to try and get going out near the Cabo Verde Islands. We think it'll at least try. Whether or not it does is a different story. Hurricane Center says that this weekend there's a window of opportunity, a 20% likelihood that this tries to get going. So it'll be interesting to see. Pat says Bar Harbor is beautiful. Arcadia is beautiful too. I'm excited to see those places. Debbie says desk lamps are a game changer. Always had one, better for your eyes and concentration than a ceiling lighting. You know what's interesting? I don't have a desk lamp at home, but here I'm in like the hotel. I've got a desk lamp and I do enjoy it. So interesting, interesting. If you keep going a lot further east, you can see Jonesport design lobster boats. Yeah, we just don't have time. Yeah, we're here for a wedding because I don't know that we would have certainly picked a trip without our kids. So this is kind of like a fun excuse to have a trip without our kids. But I mean, I'm missing the little goobers. And the entire time, like this is how you know that you've hit this point of life. Like everywhere I'm looking, I'm like, I wish that they could see this. I wish that we could have taken them on this boat last night. And you know, like these sorts of things. So this is how you know you've hit this part of your life. You know, Debbie says, I love that you're still here for us on your vacation. Thank your wife for me. Debbie says, thank you. Listen, I appreciate you. I hope that Jeannie doesn't kick me to the curb after this. Don, he could go to Maine. No, Don is not going to Maine. We're not bringing Don to Maine. Patty says, I've never had central air until we moved to Florida 19 years ago. I have a pic of me with my mom and dad in Bar Harbor, as well as pics of my husband and I and our kids at Arcadia. I feel like we'll have to take them up here again at some point. Because you know what the other thing is, and I know this sounds silly, but it's like I get, and Jeannie, like I said this to her last night, I get sad when I realize just how much of the planet that I've never seen. Like I'm never going to see it all, certainly, but like the beauty that I've never seen, and I want to see it all. Listen, I want to be like Napoleon and just see everything. So there's that. It's never going to happen, but there's that. Thank you, Jeannie, for sharing Eric this morning on your vacation. Thank you, love. I'll buy her coffee for the rest of her life. That's my way of trying to make it up to her. Our last three homes have had wood burning fireplaces, and we use them a few days each winter that we could. Our new home will have gas. Frankly, ooh, turn it on and off without having to deal with the mess of wood fire. See, Nikki, that's nice. That's nice. Anne Marie, when's the wedding this weekend? It's Saturday, right? Kind of fun because they're doing like different parts. So you've got like the wedding, and then there's the party, and then there's an after party, which means I'm gonna have to drink some coffee because we were at the station what, like till 9:30 last night?
Yeah, but we were up since 2.
Since 2. Well, yeah, but that's me every day I do the morning show. It's a long day. Those are long days. The point I was trying to make is by 9:30, no matter where we are, like our bodies are tired. We're accustomed to, you know, That's where we're at. We've been watching the Big Bang Theory, falling asleep in the middle of the night at 9:30. All right. Turn Bluey on. Oh, that'll wreck us. That'll make us really, really miss him. Yeah. So Iceland, that's amazing. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, up that, yeah, the tropical system's up that direction. So anyway, that's where they're at. No threats to Central Florida for now. So that's certainly the important part, and that's the important takeaway. These next couple of days, no tropical threats. Anything that we're developing out in the Atlantic is models have not keyed in on any development, and we can look at the models here in a second. But models have not keyed in on any development, but there's some precedent for it. So we'll have to watch and see, but no big concern, right? Nikki says, but mom and dad time is very important. The kids will grow up and leave, so you still need to know how to be alone together. My husband and I have regular date nights. And I think that that's a struggle for any set of parents, is trying to figure out how to do that. I don't think we do a great job with it, but I don't think any parent does a great job with it. And so I'll tell you this, Jeannie and I have agreed we want to raise our kids. We don't want to just throw them away to people to watch them all the time. And that means that we don't have a ton of date nights or date days. So we try to, savor what we can, right? Get an RV. That's what we did. 38 states in 4 years. Here's the thing with that, Michelle. The little logo, Wesh 2, they really frown upon me not being there much. Like I have vacation time, but if I got an RV, yeah, I'd be like, hey, Wesh, I'm going to just broadcast from all over the country. And I feel like in this day and age, they wouldn't love that. I mean, technology's getting there, but it's not there. It's not there where they want me gone all the time. Wouldn't that be cool if I could be a remote meteorologist? We just travel the country. Wouldn't that be fun? Sell our house and tiny house it for a year, and then I just keep my job. One of these days. One of these days. Ah. Debbie, I'm sure Jeannie is thrilled that you do this, Eric. Gives her time to get ready for the day, and we love her. I there's I think that it just depends on the day, right? I think that that's definitely the case. It depends on the day. My permanent vacation was moving to Florida, Betty says. Hey, deserved, deserved. So, any questions, comments, concerns about the weather, my friends? Do they have any Duncan there? I feel like Duncan is like the king, right? There's Duncans everywhere. Mobile meteorologist. Wouldn't that be fun? Oh, how's the Pilone? We're not brewing Pilone. We're hotel coffeeing it up and Starbucksing it up. We haven't hit a Duncan yet.
Only because you don't want to.
Only because I don't want to. I have money on the Starbucks card. I'll get there. I'll get there. Once the Starbucks card runs out, then we can do Duncan. Yeah, I like mobile meteorologists. I mean, you think about it. Like I've done coffee talk from all over, right? Like this is last year. This week I was doing coffee talk from Boston. Here I am in Maine. I've done coffee talk from Houston. So I could be the next Jim Cantori. I could, yeah. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns? We got the storms today. We've got the heat advisories posted for today. Things are quiet. Look for later development of storms. All right. Now, as far as real quick, and then we'll run here. But real quick, let me pull up the raw tropical models and just take a look. Do that. All right. So there's Don, center of your screen. This is just raw tropical model data, right? So let's just roll through time and just see. So Don's still hanging out. Look right where it says forecast high 95. You see that white dot there? That's this little wave that the Hurricane Center has highlighted. See it trying to develop there, working into the Caribbean islands. That's Thursday, working into the Caribbean. Not really doing much, kind of fading around the Dominican Republic and Haiti in the tropical graveyard. So really fine. Another wave perhaps right there. You see that like white dot near St. Croix, near the northern Leeward Islands. Nothing strong, but working into the tropical graveyard and again falling apart. And then right there, that's August 3rd, another wave coming off the coast of Africa. Perhaps weak in nature, but trying to do its thing. So that's what we got. And then there's Dawn again. So, for now, the models are bringing some waves, but nothing of note. And I'm totally okay with that. Totally okay with that. Didn't Channel 6 try to do remote transfer? I have no idea, Yukon. I have no idea. Yeah. I had to run it by my boss. Yeah, Frank, I don't know that they do that. Brian, two-part question. I know that hot water is one factor of tropical systems forming, but are there some of the other factors tropical systems to form? There's a million. Wind shear, moisture, atmospheric flow, monsoonal flow coming off the coast of Africa. There's a million different pieces. Part two, how or what causes tropical systems to get their counterclockwise spinning motion and wind speeds? The lowered pressures, the wind speeds, and the Coriolis force, Brian, is what gives it the spin. Yeah. Betty, as usual, the GFS abandoned the bad forecast. No hurricane now. Remember, I told you this, and I told Jeannie this too, because we've got our little Caribbean deal happening there. I'd rather have a hurricane 300 days out on the, or 300 hours out on the GFS, because there's zero chance basically of that happening. So, and there you go. GFS has abandoned it. So love that for us. All right. All right. That's it. It's 8:31, which means coffee talk is done. Be the sunshine in someone else's day, y'all. We'll see you from Bar Harbor tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Be